Hey everybody, this is Brad Bruce, and I'm here with
Jase Marsiglia.
And you're listening to the 5195 podcast.
Coast to Coast. Scarlett Johansson's with Colin Jost. When did that happen? I got nothing.
Do you think of these, or do you have these written down?
I don't know why Colin Jost popped into my head, but
it's pretty good.
But I've only got to do this one more time, and then I'm back.
Oh, that's crazy, huh?
There's only so many fucking words that rhyme with coast.
That's true.
I'm scraping the barrel here, guys.
I mean, you have went through a Rolodex of those while we've been doing this, for sure.
I've tried. It's not easy, folks. It's not easy being dumb on purpose.
Welcome to my world.
Takes a lot of talent to be this stupid, people.
I agree with you. I've been told that my whole life. I'm talented.
God, you are so talented.
You're so fucking talented. Speaking of talent, what has been going on in the screenwriting world for you?
Screenwriting world. It's been pretty slow. I kind of hit a bit of a wall, at least with the dark web one. I've kind of pushed that aside for just a second. I just had a night. This is what's sad. In the week since we talked, I did one thing, and it's not even much, but basically what it was for the Cellar Dweller comedy, I wrote an opening scroll in the vein of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, basically like what Don Larroquette's reading.
Nice.
At the beginning.
Very nice.
And it's stupid because obviously we're going into Silly Town and it's not all that, but it seemed like the type of overdramatic opening for something retarded.
I am already loving where you're going with this thing.
Yeah. So that's all I did. It was just something that gave me a chuckle one day, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Put it down, see what happens. And that was it.
Have you reread it since you did that?
Yeah, a couple of times. It's funny.
Okay, cool.
It basically sets you up effectively for the ride you're going to go on.
That's awesome.
It's a good stupid opening that's a throwback to a much scarier picture, obviously. I didn't want to do the Star Wars thing because it's done to death. But I was like, if I do the John Larroquette speech at the beginning of this movie about these two innocent people caught in a web of, absurdity looking for an old VHS tape. It's just very serious, but so not.
Yeah. Well, I think our crowd will appreciate that opening over a Star Wars opening.
Probably, but that's one of the things I kind of don't like when people keep reusing the same gag.
Yeah.
Because I know, to me, honestly, the Texas Chainsaw Crawl seems exclusive to just that. Whereas the Star Wars Crawl has been spoofed and redone.
It's everywhere, man. Everyone's doing it.
It's everywhere. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of cheap. I thought I'd go this way.
I don't know if I've ever seen anyone do a Chainsaw Massacre opening.
No. I think the only people who have are Chainsaw sequels.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, I don't know. It just felt right. It felt absurd and stupid and just the way I wanted it to. And unfortunately, that's all I did, my man.
I mean, I'm not too far behind you, so.
Now you had a bit of a lag yourself, have you?
Well, I did, because I'm writing this slasher movie, and it got to that point. I introduced these new characters to the main guys, and that's the thing too, is that I'm sort of falling victim of not following my own advice, and it's like, just get the fucking draft done. Don't go back and kind of refigure out what you're doing and change it. You know what I mean? So
you're trying to choke back the vomit draft.
And it's like, no, I just go.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Just splat.
Exactly. So when I did that, I made the fatal mistake of going back and rereading from page 1, and I'm into it now at about 40-ish pages.
Okay.
And I introduced these new characters. I'm like, okay, I like the tension between my main guys and then these new guys. And it's just the old versus the young.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's what it is. And so I'm like...
got to be a fun dichotomy to play with.
It is, because I'm able to speak as one of these young, brainless, social media driven maniacs.
Mm-hmm.
And then just destroy them with the wit and wisdom of a very aged individual.
Because you could speak from both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
You're still in touch with both.
Exactly. Because, I mean, I'm immature and I'm old as fuck. So, hey, win-win.
Yeah, we purposely not grown up.
Yeah, no, not at all. So what happened was I reread all the way. And that's the thing is, like, I literally try so hard to never reread until I got like a fade to black.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I don't want to go. The only reason I would go back, and it's been pretty much almost because of this script being so layered with so many intertwining plots, is to go back to see if I didn't fuck up something from earlier.
Right.
You know, it's one thing if you want to go back and be like, does this scene make sense? Did I already say this or that? Or have I set this up properly? And you thumb back and look and go, oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, cool.
Totally.
Or you didn't. And you're like, okay, I need to probably go back a few pages and type this part in, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, to go back and read it, it's not good.
No, it's not.
It just hinders the process for you.
It really did. And now I'm stuck again.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck. And what I really like to do with my characters is I don't really try to go for the ending right out the gate. I sort of like letting my characters lead me where they want to go.
Sure.
You know, and now I feel like they're just kind of all ping-ponging and like bumping into each other, and there's no flow anymore. I sort of had to just push back and just leave it alone for a minute, just to kind of reset everything.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, what I did was I joined another one of those sites to get exposure for scripts I've written.
Damn. You know what? I still haven't done that. I might just wait until I get out there.
Let's do that, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sort of doing the baptism by fire for you.
Sure. And the thing was, I would totally go for the ride as well, but I kind of want to kick its tires, but I just haven't really had the time.
Completely understand.
It'd be good for the two of us to just be like, all right, this is what I've been doing. Here's what
Yeah. So the latest one that I just joined, and I got to be honest with you, I think it's the one I'm going to stick with. After lots of research of looking at all of these things, I think I'm going to stick with InkTip.
Okay.
I feel like for my level of maturity, it might be the best place for me to hawk my goods.
Okay.
You know, because I'm able to write pretty much what they're looking for, you know, in a sense of just fun horror stuff, you know.
You think that's your audience?
Yes, I really do. You know,
more so than the others anyway.
Yes.
You know.
Well, here's the thing. I've joined the other ones and I've literally got 2 things back from Coverfly. That's Jack and shit. Now with InkTip, I just uploaded 3 scripts last night. I've already had them reach out to me today saying, maybe you should do this, maybe you should add this, maybe you should add a little more pages to this script, make it a little bit longer. Maybe this one could use a little bit more. And I was like, what the fuck?
I'll be damned.
Already? And like, so I hit him up and I'm like, hey, I really appreciate that. Let me pull it off. Let me reread it and let me see what I can punch up to get the page count up. And he was like, awesome. You have any questions or need anything? Let me know. That fucking fast.
And is this a producer? Is it just another writer?
No, this is someone that like works at InkTip. They're really getting,
okay.
They're helping me get my scripts tightened and ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, that's fucking cool just to have that kind of involvement that fast out the gate.
Sure.
You know, and then, so like I said, I did this last night. And then today I got an email from them saying, hey, one of your scripts might work as a pitch for this company that's trying to do something. And of course, I can't say, well, I'll tell you, but I can't say what company it is. And so I pitched a script to them. Like within 14 hours, I'm already pitching my movie to industry people.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. And like, so I look these people up and I'm like, oh no, they're definitely legit and they're doing things. So I was like, holy fuck. So the fact that I joined yesterday and I'm already have one pitch out there, you know, with a query and everything is ready to go. And then I have the company hitting me up saying, tighten this up. Maybe add a few pages to this. I'm like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Oh, that's dope. That's really cool, man.
Yeah. I'm super stoked. I feel very confident that I made the right decision by going InkTip. I really do.
Very cool.
Yeah. Once you get out here, I'll let you see my page and how it's going and what I had to do. Because there's some hoops.
Sure.
And once you get through those, things seem pretty manageable.
It's pretty gravy after that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Like, as far as writing, I'm going to pull one of my scripts and just sort of give it a nice little punch up. Add, maybe 10, 15 pages. Make it a little stronger.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean,
that sounds legit.
Yeah, no,
it was
cool. it was very cool to get contacted that fast.
Yeah, no, that almost feels too good to be true. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would have almost felt suspect.
Bro, that I did. I swear I did at first.
Well, that's the thing. You and I are so used to, all right, it's out there. Hopefully I'll hear something in the next 6 months.
Exactly.
If at all, and so that's already off the beaten path. That's not something I'm used to.
Same.
So I'd have been like, who fucking read this? Who are you?
So
I mean, I don't think it's pessimism, but that's a really quick turnaround.
It's very quick.
What the fuck?
It's very, very quick. So yeah, I'm doing that, and then I did I picked up 3 more notepads, and I'm just writing ideas and scenes and shit I want to see, and characters and timelines, and for other movies that I want to start working on, because I'm hoping by the end of February and into March, I would love to have a good 7 to 10 features out, like, constantly in rotation, like out there, just to see what happens. Like, my main goal is, when you get here, I would love to finish and put vinyl to bed for good,
too.
And then I can register that and put it on here, and then hopefully we can get that fucker made.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, so that that'll just be another one, and and like I said, I'm working on quite a few scripts right now, writing 2 simultaneously. And then I'm fleshing and penning about 9.
Yeah.
I think.
That's a lot. That's a full plate.
It is. But, I don't do it every day. I do it when the moment strikes. Like, because, as like, being a writer, it's not something you can just sit down like a 9 to 5 and go, okay, I'm going to get creative and start working.
No.
It's like you really have to be excited and happy to be at that laptop and to jump into this world and create it, because if you're doing it because it's a job and you're just trying to sell a script, then it's going to suffer, and it's going to show in your script for sure.
Well, yeah, we talked about this before, how your mood, it's almost a physical being when it hits paper.
Uh-huh.
And if you're not interested, then it's going to show, Now, that's not the same thing as what we talked about, where if I'm in a shitty mood and I'm writing something dark,
right?
Yeah, that could steer it.
That's just fuel, yeah.
That's fuel. So, I guess as the antithesis to writing happy, if you write sad or angry, it'll show there too. But the scary thing is to write disinterested.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that, how people have been given jobs in genres or in franchises even that they're not familiar with, they could give 2 shits about.
Yep.
And that's how you get sequelitis type movies where you're like, the fuck were they even doing? What was the point? To them, it was a job, or they did it out of some sense of obligation because they dangled another carrot in front of them and was like, we'll do this script if you punch up this one or, overhaul it. And, and you're like, oh, I don't even fucking like these movies, man. And they're just like, hey, it's this or nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, fine, I'll write the 10th fucking Freddy movie or Hellraiser. And they didn't even watch the previous 9. It's like...
That is very apparent.
Yeah, it's
Exorcist.
Just one of those deals. Oh, yeah. No, you see it all the time. You watch a movie and you're like, clearly this person either didn't like, respect, or even see the movie that this is connected to. Or
and I think more than half, they didn't see it.
Probably not.
I really do. I don't think they saw it because there's no emotional connection between this and that.
Right.
And it's so apparent. It's disgusting. It's just like so cold and cavernous. It's like, I know these are supposed to be the same worlds, but the only thing that draws them together is the name. and everything else is completely different.
And I'm sure it's a paycheck. I'm sure it's a good paycheck, but they're basically, what did George Romero used to say? They'd fly me out to Hollywood and pay me a fortune to fart.
Yep.
That was his saying. Like, he would be like, I used to get paid to go to Hollywood and fart.
Yeah.
That was basically him summing up. I would go out there and get paid tons of money to do something I could care less about in order to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And even Johnny Depp. I do one movie for the art and one movie to pay the bills.
Yeah.
You know, all the movies of his that you love, it's very possible he did one just for the paycheck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Robert Rodriguez does the same thing with Spy Kids.
Sure, because they're moneymakers.
Yeah, he does Spy Kids to pay for all the other passion projects.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that, you know?
Not at all.
Mean, I'm a firm believer of, hey, man, one for you, one for me. Let's do this. Let's all eat.
Yeah.
Like, I can write anything, so I'll write you whatever you want, and then you buy what I write.
No, and even that, I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't do my homework, but I would probably be a little daunted if I was given something that's already an established franchise that I'm not a fan of. You know what I mean? Or not familiar with.
Yeah. I mean, that's because, here's the thing. It's going to show.
It's going to show, and it's probably going to happen at some point. I'm going to get pitched something that they're like, we'll buy yours if you do the next fucking Star Trek movie.
But
you
could do that.
I'm a Trekkie.
Yeah.
I am a Trekkie. I grew up watching those with my dad, but I couldn't tell you one goddamn thing about writing a Star Trek script. I wouldn't know what the fuck to do.
Well, see, I think it's going to be this is how it's really going to be. Jase, we're going to give you all the money for your script, but you have to write Gummo 2 for us.
Ooh. Well, hey, whatever shit I throw onto that paper, it's going to be better than the first one.
I mean, yeah, because it could clearly be shit and still be better than the first one.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, to the fans out there of Gummo, I'm sorry. But
dude, don't worry. It's just me and Harmony. It's all good. There ain't no other ones.
It's literally the two of you and whoever was involved.
That's it. Not even the ones involved. These are people involved don't want nothing to do with that fucking movie.
Not even the non-actors who were like, just put a camera in my face and I'll wrestle a fucking
Yeah, they saw it and they were just like, holy fuck, what is this shit? Yeah.
I'm never going to be able to show my face in Brownstown, Ohio ever again.
Oh my God.
I dread those days, but I'd probably do my best.
Yeah.
Because for one thing, I'm not in a position to say no. Mm-hmm. But like I said, as a fan of Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever, may not be the thing that I would have aspired to write, but I'd grab a stack of the movies, watch them again, take my notes, and be like, all right, I think I can do this maybe.
It's a challenge.
It is a huge challenge.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's okay to challenge yourself because, I mean, being a creative person, it would be funny if someone was like, hey, I want you to write a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Oh, God, that didn't even cross my mind.
Well, here's the thing, man. I mean, I could totally fucking do it. And, like, I would rip off so many horror movies. Like, I could do it right now. Like I could make it to where like a little boy finds this guy and takes him and nurses him back to health, and it's Santa Claus. I mean, that's the same thing like it happened in Halloween when he was in the fucking river and the old man grabs him and brings him to his fucking cabin and like nurses him back to health, and then boom, he kills him.
Yeah.
I would literally take these plots from these horror films that people like us would know and appreciate and like tongue-in-cheek nod very, very well. I see what you did there, dude. I see, like, making it to where they're all trapped in a mall on Christmas. Like, I mean, I think that kind of shit would be fun to do it to where I'm like, no, I wrote Halloween, Dawn of the Dead, and Chainsaw Massacre 2, but this is a Hallmark Christmas movie.
It's a Hallmark Christmas movie.
It's a Hallmark Christmas movie. That's the kind of shit that really makes me happy, and it's really fun because I'll be honest with you, certain things I've punched up for people, I've definitely done that before, and they've used it, and I've seen it on the screen.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. No, it's always good.
Here, there's the Hallmark movie I would write where the boyfriend brings his girlfriend home to meet his mom, and I'm basically just rewriting Mother's Day from 1980.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, then I do that where it's like, I'm going to write Psycho.
Oh, yeah. At the end, the Christmas spirit just takes over him and he becomes a whole different person.
It's awesome. And you know what's funny is we're coming into the summer months, so I know that they're going to start wanting a bunch of Christmas scripts. I'm almost certain if I was to look in the pitch section of InkTip, there's Christmas movies wanted right now. Pretty sure there is.
Probably wouldn't doubt it at all.
And that's one of those things, I'll be honest with you, I could probably write it in a day and then rewrite it, and then like they could have their fucking script in maybe 3-4 days. To
be fair, and this is coming from someone who absolutely, I've probably been on the Hallmark Channel long enough to click past it. They just make the same movie over and over and just recast it. So they're not going to notice if you just get, if you reach into a jar of cookies and you pull out a cookie, that's pretty predictable. I think you know what you're getting.
It's either big city lawyer girl comes home to small town, or big lawyer guy comes home from a big town back to a small town and then falls in love with the teacher. She's now a teacher.
And the guy, he makes, wicker chairs at the Cracker Barrel, So it's cool.
I think we'll be okay, dude, in this industry. I just want you to know. And, not to knock any of those people that are doing this for a living. All I'm saying is move over.
They're laughing their way to the fucking bank. They could care less.
That's why I said move over, because I think we want a slice of that pie, too.
Right.
And being on InkTip, there's a pretty good fucking chance that we could, if we threw it up there, odds are people would be like, oh my God, this is great. This is fucking great.
And meanwhile, we're at home dusting our hands off like, Jesus, I feel dirty.
Exactly. And they're like, oh my God, get Melissa Joan Hart and Joey Lawrence on the horn. We have their next picture.
I'm so excited, but I need to watch like Faces of Death now. just to rinse this off.
Anything you cast Dean Cain in anything Hallmark, and it's gold.
Yeah.
Any country star, any 90s or early 2000s sitcom star, like it's fucking genius. Oh man.
Garth Brooks and Olivia Newton-John.
Oh my God. Back from the dead?
Too soon?
No, not at all. Not at all. Raising Toby Keith.
Candace Cameron Bure. Starring in Jennifer Love Hewitt's Mommy, Where is Christmas?
Oh no, you just wrote the title. Oh no, we gotta register that quick because someone's gonna take that.
Mommy, where is Christmas?
Oh my God. That's fucking awesome.
And that is how you come up with an idea.
That is how you come up with an idea. Speaking of ideas.
Yes.
You hit me with an idea today.
Which is, in its own way, relative to this conversation.
It really is. So I'm going to give you the floor and let you bring up what we're going to be talking about on this episode.
Okay. So basically, over the years, as I've gotten older, as a kid, when I was really getting into movies, I was trying to watch everything. Mm-hmm. As I'm sure you may have been too. You just, whatever's there. I'm just going to consume and absorb. And as I've gotten older, my attention span and interests have waned. And now I'm sort of like, you know what? If it's horror, great. Exploitation, yes. Grindhouse, yup. But anything else, I'm like, I kind of want you to shake the keys in front of me and entertain me in a much more base way.
Yeah.
But there is the part of me that's like, you know what? If I'm a real artist and I'm a real writer, I need to get back to my roots and really watch anything and everything. And I pitched to you today, are there any genres that you either wish you saw more of and want to get back into, or get into deeper, I should say, or ones that you haven't messed with at all and are like, you know what, one day I need to just kind of dip my toe into this and see what it's like. And that was the pitch. I was like, are there any genres or subgenres that have kind of crossed your path, but you've never really reached out and grabbed it off the shelf?
Yeah, and I thought it was a great topic.
Because it's a wide net.
It is a very wide net. And what's interesting about the question is that there are films in this genre that I've seen that I didn't even consider it part of this genre.
Yeah.
Because when you said it, I started researching and I was like, well, fuck, maybe I do like this genre. But then I started thinking and I was like, well, no, there's 3 big reasons why I don't. So I'm going to go first just because it's very quick.
Yeah.
Because I have 2 different viewpoints of this.
Okay.
There's a genre that, yes, I would like to be more immersed in.
Sure.
And then there's another genre where I really don't care about getting immersed in it. And I want to stay away from it. So the one that I want to stay away from and I just have no desire for is fantasy.
Wow. That one didn't even cross my mind, but that is one that I don't latch on to fantasy, man.
Yeah, I don't, And of course, then I started researching fantasy, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay, they're quote-unquote fantasy, because some of the ones that jumped up was like The Neverending Story or Labyrinth or The Princess Bride, which I'm like...
Which are fantasy, yeah. Those are fantasy things,
but in a weird way, I see them as something different. I see them as more from my childhood, and they're just right up there, with the rest of the film that I love. I don't put them in this, those are fantasy movies. Those are just part of the arsenal of my go-tos for me.
Sure.
Now, the movies that I mentioned them last week on the show, and when you said this, I was like, yep, that's it for me. And those are the fucking Lord of the Rings movies, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like,
and that's fantasy. It is. It's
big
dragons
time,
and wizards.
Yeah. And so in 2001, when that first one came out.
Yes.
A couple of buddies were like, we're going to go see this. And now, mind you, I've seen the Hobbit cartoon, the Rankin Bass stuff.
That's already more than I saw.
Okay. And I was like, and the only reason I saw it is because Rankin Bass. But I saw it and I was just like, wow, this is not good. Yeah, the animation is cool, but the story, it didn't hook me.
It wasn't grabbing you.
Not at all. And so then when they went to go see this movie, I went into seeing this movie with no idea of what was going on. Okay.
Yeah.
We sat down and my buddy's like, I'm impressed you came. And I was like,
okay.
What does that mean? And he's like, well, this movie's 3 hours long. And I was like, no, seriously, what does that mean?
Don't bullshit me.
Yeah. He's like, no, it's 3 hours long. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And he's like, yeah.
What did you pull me out of my house for?
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and watch a bunch of fucking hobbits run around with big feet for 3 fucking hours. Sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And so I left. Like I couldn't even do it.
You fucking got up and left.
I bounced, went out into and I came with them. They were my ride. So I'm calling a buddy and I'm just like, you got to come grab me, my dude, because I'm fucking out of here. I'm not watching this shit. I'm not doing it.
I cannot believe you bounced. That is the funniest shit ever. God, is that funny.
They couldn't believe it.
I don't know if I could top that. That's so fucking funny. I do also have a Lord of the Rings story.
Good.
I do. And I won't name names. I'm not going to, bring people up. But I had a buddy from high school that I stayed in touch with maybe a year or two after, but we kind of lost touch over time. Big into fantasy. Okay. And I just, I couldn't really get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the same year as Lord of the Rings was the first Harry Potter.
Okay.
Harry Potter, I was like, my younger brother Josh was into it. I was like, let me read this first book and see what the hype's about, because it's Harry Potter's all over the goddamn place. And I read the book. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. It's the only one I've read to this day.
Uh-huh.
But I went and seen the movie, and it was verbatim the book. And I was like, well, this is about what I pictured. This is cool. This is all right. Again, it's fantasy. It's wizards and witches and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot in the sense of like Wizard of Oz. Like you were talking about childhood shit. Wizard of Oz is 100% fantasy, and I love it. It's one of the best movies ever made. But I digress. Potter kind of, I don't want to sound cheesy, but enchanted me a little bit. It was I got sucked in. I got it. I was like, okay. Later that year was Lord of the Rings. My buddy was like, you want to go see this? Because I went and seen Harry Potter with my family.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, I'll you guys are going tonight? I'll go with you. That sounds cool.
Right.
Whereas Lord of the Rings, I had no interest in it. And until I heard that it was a Peter Jackson movie. And you and I grew up with a completely different Peter Jackson than what other people had.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm like, and mind you, this is just a few years after, I believe, The Frighteners. That might have been the last movie he did before he blew up. I mean, granted, he had Heavenly Creatures, which was a big hit, but
Right.
he did The Frighteners, and then with the computer effects from that movie, he went on and did Lord of the Rings for New Line, and now he's Peter fucking Jackson, you know. So I was like, as a Frighteners fan, as a Peter Jackson fan, I will go see this. I'll go with you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fine. When I got in line for my ticket, and I'm surrounded by hoods and cloaks and staffs and Hobbit feet, and I'm just looking around going, what the fuck am I getting myself into? Because I'm just looking around. I mean, I say this as a nerd, it's a sea of nerds.
Yeah.
And they're cosplaying at the theater. I had never seen cosplay at the theater. Mm-hmm. Closest I've come, I'd go see a Marvel movie and I'd wear a fucking Iron Man shirt.
Yeah.
Cool. But these people were in full regalia. And I'm like, so I kind of sighed and was like, okay, Jesus fucking Christ. All right. We go into the theater and the group I went with liked to sit up close.
Okay.
So we're talking first, second row, staring up at the screen with a craned neck for 3 fucking hours. I'll never, ever, ever forget this. And I've told these stories before about, we had a whole episode about like theater reactions and the communal.
Right.
People gasping at the right time or laughing or whatever.
Yeah. These
People, when a line would be, I think it was the line, Gandalf, the good wizard, says, I swear this is cemented in my brain. He says, is it secret? Is it safe? And apparently that's a massive line in the book because the crowd collectively moaned orgasmically. I mean, it was like Michael Keaton saying, I'm Batman, and everyone going, oh, fuck, it's on.
Yeah.
It was a sea of nerds going, oh my God. I just remember sliding in my seat going, what the fuck am I involved in? And it was just, it took away from the experience.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, do I have Hobbit jizz on the back of my neck? What the fuck is happening in this room? Harry Potter people weren't even doing this.
Yeah.
And the thing was, by the end of the film, yes, it was good. It's a good movie, mostly because I can get lost in Peter Jackson visuals. He can paint a picture the way Tim Burton does.
Right.
And the movie visually was amazing. It's fucking awesome. Enough so that when the second one came out, same buddy, we're going opening night. You coming? And I was like, but I said yes. Same experience. The costumes, the jizzing, all of it. And I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And again, it was a good movie. Walked out of it. Third one comes out, and before the invite is even out of his mouth, I was like, no, I'm good.
That is enough Hobbit jizz.
And he goes, dude, it's the last one. It's how could you not want to see how it ends? I was like, I'll watch it on video. I just didn't have it in me to sit for 3.5 hours in a genre I don't like, in a crowd full of people who are getting all the in jokes and nerdery that I'm clearly not. I couldn't do it. I mean, hats off to the fans. Fine, cool. But it wasn't my scene at all. And I just felt so fucking out of place.
Yeah.
It was it's such a cringy moment that when it comes on, I'm like, oh, cool. I'll watch a few minutes and then just kind of go about my day.
Yeah.
But I did it more to support Peter Jackson than Tolkien or whatever his name is. And, but yeah, it was so fucking weird. And I'll never be able to divorce Lord of the Rings from the feeling of, ew. Everyone in this room just collectively moaned because someone said a thing. I'm like, I can't do this. It took me years. It actually took me getting married and Amanda saying, what's with these Lord of the Rings movies? And it was enough years afterward that I was like, yeah, I could watch these again. So I popped them in and I watched the trilogy over the course of, I think we watched one a weekend.
Okay.
So for 3 weeks, I finally finished the series, and the third one, ironically to me, was the best. And actually, when it was done, I was like, shit, that would have been cool to see at the theater. But I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So when the Hobbit movies came out, the new trilogy or whatever, I was like, no,
That's a
I
lot.
still don't have the interest
yeah,
in it.
man. I mean,
I
between
just can't do it.
the Lord of the Rings extended cuts and then all those Hobbit movies, it's like a fucking year, like
It is.
worth of
It's
time.
long.
Like I just
And
no.
the thing is, granted, it's a whole different experience when you're on your couch. You have a pause button if you got to piss. You know, if you get tired, I can turn it off and pick it back up tomorrow. Whatever.
Right,
you know,
right.
It's a different experience. But being at the theater, I was like, no. And lately, I think before the big Marvel movies started coming out, those big 3-hour ones, I think the last 3-hour movie I went and seen at the theater was Grindhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it was
totally.
like, or you know, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or something. You know, a long Tarantino movie. But something I'm interested in is the key. And when you're not interested, that 3 hours is like a fucking day.
Yeah.
And even because me and Tina, I goof with her a lot about this.
Yeah.
She's a huge Harry Potter fan.
Mm-hmm.
I only just finished that series maybe 2 years ago because my daughter got into them. I watched 1 through 3 at the theater, and I loved them. They were great. I saw the 4th one at the theater and was like, I think I'm done. And I never picked it back up. And then my daughter started reading it, and my son kind of got involved. And they were like, do you have the Harry Potter movies? And I was like, no, but your uncle does. So we borrowed them all from him. And granted, Josh, that was his generation. He was like 10 when those movies came out. So he was all like, to him, that was what Goosebumps was for like us.
Right. So, I mean, him and Tina are basically around the same age then. So they're...
That's true, you know. And so I get that. I get the nostalgia and I get the history and all that. After that 4th movie, I was like, I think I've grown out of this. And I don't feel like watching trolls and dragons and shit anymore. And I could give a shit about Voldemort and his weird face shooting you with a fucking wand. I was bored. You know, I was bored. Right. And to be honest, we finished the series. And Brad, I'm telling you right now, I'm being 100% honest. Even after watching them all, I couldn't tell you which one's which. I really couldn't. They'd be like, hey, do you remember that scene in Harry Potter, like 7 or whatever? And I'm like, no.
Nope, I don't.
I don't.
I do not remember it.
It was in the 6th one when they went here or there, and I'm like, no.
Nope.
I got nothing. I really don't remember. Or I'll remember the scene, and he'll be like, yeah, what movie was that in? And I'm like, I fucking don't know. It's
no
one
clue.
Of them.
I have no clue.
It just didn't leave a footprint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, as far as fantasy's concerned, I'm kind of right there with you, dude, even with the popular shit.
Like 80s fantasy, I'm cool with that shit.
Well, it's funny you say that. I pulled the trigger 2 or 3 weeks ago on the Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
The Arrow set. And I texted you first because I'm like, I don't remember much about these. These are fantasy flicks. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, is it worth it? And you were like, dude, do it. Yeah. So I was like, okay. Because I think it was only I think I bought it the same day as the Warriors set. They were both a fucking steal. So I was like, I'll order it. I'll give it another watch. If it sucks, I could sell it. You know, I'll just hawk it off or something. But I thought, to me, fantasy that's rated R maybe is better. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
You haven't watched them yet?
It hasn't. No, I haven't gotten it yet. In fact, I think it comes out next Tuesday.
Okay.
So mine was a pre-order, but I don't think I've watched either of those movies since I was a kid. I couldn't tell you which one was which. Yeah. Or if they're any good.
They're so much fun. In my opinion, I think they're so much fun.
But again, that would be a fantasy movie that you dug. Yeah.
You know, again, I've never seen The Lord of the Rings, so I'm not... Maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but in my opinion, I feel like Conan and all these guys, they're not taking themselves too seriously. This is what it is. Like it or don't.
You're talking about the Conan movies?
Yeah, the Conan movies. You know, like it's not taking itself too seriously. It's not going down this like crazy rabbit hole, you know, of like just all these finite details of this story. You know, It's literally just very surface, very fun. Warrior fucking badass swords and violence, and it's fun.
And that's the thing. I feel like that goes back to what I was talking about with exploitation and shaking the keys in front of my face. A movie like Conan, or I'll even go a step below, even in budget, like the Deathstalker movies.
Yes.
Those are basically chicks and thongs. They're like titty flicks with swords.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, it's still not my thing, but I'll probably watch that over something polished in 3 hours and sanitated. You know, it's like there's something grittier to the ones that are like, yeah, you could watch Lord of the Rings, but this guy's going to chop off someone's head and drink their blood. And I'm like, oh, cool. You know, so it's, and the thing is, as I'm saying this, I know how shallow all this sounds. It's like, you're going to your primate self watching these movies. Yeah, kind of. I'm getting old.
Big time.
I just want to watch fucked up shit.
Yep. So, hey, man, we've earned that right.
And even that, though, like I said, I'm not going to rush to the shelves to watch Deathstalker, you know, but if someone handed me the blue pill and the red pill, I'm going to take the one that's fucking Deathstalker.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's funny because like when I left Lord of the Rings and late that night when they got home from watching it, and
when dawn broke,
yeah, you know, and they looked like they had been walking for fucking 6 years when they came in. Like fucking, they're just like, I can't believe you left, man. And I was just like, well, look, my favorite Peter Jackson movie, okay, like of all time, is Dead Alive.
Oh, it's brilliant.
That's my favorite. You know, Meet the Feebles is cool. Bad Taste is cool. You know, like obviously The Frighteners is fucking a classic, but that early, you know, even though that's a little bit later, like that's 90s as well, early 90s, I think, Dead Alive. But
yeah, but that's Peter Jackson let loose.
Exactly. You know, and when they said, hey, we're going to go see a Peter Jackson movie, I was expecting a Bad Taste. I was expecting a Frighteners or, you know, a Dead Alive. You know, I was expecting not this.
It's not that at all.
No.
I'm even speaking, again, as someone who did enjoy those films.
Yeah.
But they just weren't for me. You know, they weren't made for me.
Exactly. Okay. What else you got?
Okay, mine, this is interesting, okay? It's porn parodies. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I really want to watch Repenetrator or the Triple Exorcist or Edward Penis Hands. No, honestly, mine there's two again, which I think you had two as well.
I did. I have one more. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll just do one of mine and we'll go back and forth. But
okay.
The one that I kind of want to get into is anime.
Ooh, okay.
I don't watch a lot of anime. But when I have watched it, something like Akira or Ghost in the Shell, you know, the big ones.
Yeah.
Again, it may not be my kind of plot, but I am like in awe of that type of animation. It is so fluid. Right. And so intense that it's like, it's a whole different culture that I would totally jump into. Yeah. But I'd probably want to wade on the darker, murkier side, like your... I think isn't there like a Van Helsing or a Vampire D, and I've got a couple. I've got a series called High School of the Dead, and granted, it's that there's a name for it. I think they call it fan service. It's basically schoolgirls with big tits and panties and shit. Okay, you know, it's very fetishy,
right? Like how we dress when we do the show. But yeah, go ahead.
Especially when we go to conventions. So it's it's TNA, but let's say you took that out, it is a very Romero-esque and very disturbing zombie show. Okay. And the violence in it is just nuts. It is fucking crazy. So I got sucked in. I was like, this is pretty cool, you know? And then there's the comic book artist, Junji Ito, who draws really fucking twisted shit. They've been adapting his work into a Netflix series. I've watched a few episodes and it's scary as hell. Really? It's really good. So it's like, that's the thing with anime. There's so many avenues you could go down. There's so many different series. There's so many series that went from volume 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 that I have no idea where to fucking start. Right. And I think I've never gotten into it full bore because I'm slightly intimidated by it. Okay. Because there's just so much. I'm like, I don't, you know, people have been like, you should download Crunchyroll or whatever.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's fine, but if I download it, I'm not going to know what to click. There's so many webs between these shows and these movies and shit that I'm like, how do I know I don't jump in on something and enjoy it? And then you're like, oh, you started there? No, you got to go back to this. I need a map. Give me a map and I'll go back and I'll watch what you think I should start at, but that's a genre that I'm interested in, that I'm just, I kind of shark around it. I give the cage a bump now and again, and find something cool. But I've never gone full bore and been like, all right, dude, I'm gonna fucking hardcore watch some anime.
Well, fucking sweet, because since you just said that, I've literally written down 1, 2, 3, 4 of my favorite ones that you can just start with and have a good time with.
Fucking dope. Absolutely.
So when we're done with this, I'll send them to you, so you can watch trailers and you can see if they're your vibe, if it feels like something you'd be interested in.
Sure. And if the listeners, if we got a listener who's deep into anime and you think you know something close to what I'm describing, just shoot us an email, 5195podcast@gmail.com, or on Instagram. We're on all the socials.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know, man. Let us know where I can get started, or if there's a series or even a movie that you're like, this sounds like it's up your fucking alley. You're going to really dig this.
Yeah, I got a few movies for you too. A few shows and a few movies for sure that are fun. That you don't need to invest, like this whole like, oh wait, this is the origin story and this is season 2 and this leads into this. Like, what is this canon? Am I able to, follow this? No, we're not. We're doing away with all that. Like, I'm just going to give you some titles that you can watch and go, oh, this is fucking fun. This is what I wanted. It's interesting. Cool. It's a good introduction to anime to where you're like, all right, I get it. And I'm giving you some stuff that's like early 80s.
Right.
Like some real good storyline, some fun shit, good violence.
Cool.
Hell yeah. That's fucking cool. I would have never expected that. That was actually cool.
A lot of people would have, but the fact is, within anime, every genre is accounted for. If you want to watch fantasy anime, it's there. If you want to watch martial arts anime, it's there. So, I mean, the sky's the limit, but I'm more into darker shit. Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to know where to go. I've had people tell me I should watch Attack on Titan, which I guess is a pretty grisly show every now and again. I don't know.
But it's one of those ones it's very involved.
Right, and that was kind of the thing. I watched the first episode that was on Netflix, and someone told me, oh, we're in season whatever. And when I looked at Netflix, I'm like, oh, this only goes up to like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to get invested in something if I can't continue it. And that's kind of when the Crunchyroll conversation started.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've nosed around and I've poked at it, but I've never jumped in. That's one that I'd like to fuck with. I'd like to watch some of that.
There's definitely some fun shit. Mine, the one that I am interested in, and I've only dabbled. I've never really jumped headfirst. I own a few, but I don't give them the respect and the time they deserve, and those are foreign films.
Just in general?
In general. Like, and if I had to localize it, it would be classic foreign films.
For example?
Like Elevator to the Gallows. That's a movie that when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is a great movie. And it opened my eyes to foreign films, but then I quickly fucking said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to watch anymore. Yeah, and I believe Elevator to the Gallows was also a Criterion.
They do put out a lot of foreign.
They do. And there's a lot of stuff out there, and like my buddy Richard Iniguez, he's a big foreign film buff.
Yeah.
So he's always given me this list of like all these different, well, you need to watch this. This is about this. And I respect it. And I go as far as seeking them out, bringing them home, and then leaving them wrapped. And never watch them. And it's not because of the subtitles, because I don't have a problem reading the subtitles. Like, I mean, we write. So reading kind of goes hand in hand.
That's the thing. That's my dad.
Really? My
dad is like, oh, this movie looks really good. Did you guys seen it? And I have to tell him, I'm like, Dad, it's German. And he'll be like, oh, then never mind.
Just that quick. Like, fuck, nope, I'm good. Fuck that.
Yeah. He's like, there's no way I'm going to read and watch it and blah, blah, blah. And he's just, and again, I make fun of him for it. I poke at him. That's just me being a dick to my dad. But it's no different than what we're talking about. It's not a genre he's interested in. He's like, if I got to read, I don't fucking care. I just want to get lost in the film.
Right. Yeah.
I do get that.
I get that too.
I do like to give him shit for it. I'm always like, oh, you're so uncultured.
Yeah.
But we've cornered him a couple of times. We got him to watch Inglourious Bastards, which is German, French, Italian. What was it? There was another movie. I forget what it was. But I've gotten him to watch a couple.
Uh-huh.
The biggest one, though, was Inglourious Bastards.
Okay.
because, he's a big war movie buff.
Right.
And he's not a huge Tarantino fan, but we were trying to tell him it's not Pulp Fiction, it's not Reservoir Dogs, it's more your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But again, there's whole sections of the movie that are spoken completely in French, or there's a whole section of the movie that's completely in German. And it's like, if you want to watch this, you got to deal with that. It's like 70-30, It practically is Tarantino's foreign film,
Uh-huh.
But he watched it and he enjoyed it. But yeah, it's like, like Godzilla -1. Dad, you want to go see it? Yeah, sure. And I'll be like, it's Japanese. And he's like, well, never mind. And it's like, okay, all right,
That's fucking awesome. No, that's actually funny.
I just wanted to put it out there for you.
Yeah. That's so great.
Yeah, he's 100% against it. He will not watch it.
That's so great. Oh, no, thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
That's fucking
now,
awesome.
I will say, during the workday when I'm working remotely, I put on stuff. I send you pictures almost every Thursday and Friday what I'm watching. I can't do foreign films and work.
Right.
Because obviously you have to watch. I wanted to blow through my Rings box set.
Uh-huh.
The Arrow box set for the Ringu Japanese series. I really wanted to blow through those. And I'm like, The Office is the only room that I have the region-free player. Because these are, I believe, UK locked. So I can't watch them in the living room when the kids go to bed or anything. Uh-huh. It's like I would only be able to watch it while I'm down here working. And I'm like, you can't pay attention to a foreign film if you don't speak the goddamn language.
Exactly.
Like everything else, I can look up and listen and whatever, but I've got a ton of foreign horror films mostly that I'm like, yeah, I have to kind of find a day to just sit in the office for 2 hours and watch this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a commitment.
And that just doesn't happen,
Yeah.
But that's my biggest caveat with foreign. Otherwise, I don't mind if someone, recommends something, I'll watch it.
And what I meant by foreign films is, as I mean, like dramas and, and actions and mysteries, noir stuff, not even so much like Italian horror or, that kind of stuff, but I mean like just a whole different genre of film,
See, You're more like, the Fellini era. Stuff like 8.5.
Yes, which I own them all. I own all these movies. I do.
Yeah, your Criterion collection is pretty impressive, and a lot of them are, Italian or Swedish. Like, what was the movie that inspired Last House on the Left? The Virgin Spring. That's a Swedish movie with Max von Sydow. And great movie, brilliant movie. It's actually really harsh, but yeah, it's you got to sit down and really take it in, and it's hard to do.
It's hard to do.
But yeah, I'll do it now and again. And I remember I've only seen maybe 3 foreign movies at the theater.
Okay.
One of them was a bunch of my buddies were like, let's go see, I think it was called Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Oh, I love that fucking movie.
Great flick, but none of us knew it was a French film. And mind you, I had just gotten glasses.
Okay.
They were so fresh that eye doctor was like, only use them for driving or reading.
Yeah.
So I got out of my car when I met them there, fully intending to just leave them on the dash and go inside. I forgot that they were on, just walked in with them, and when the movie started with the subtitles, I was like, Jesus Christ, am I glad I brought my fucking glasses. Because I'm like, this would be like 2.5 hours of blurry nothingness. And it just, that was a tough one. But I went and seen that. I went and seen A Tale of Two Sisters, which is a really creepy Korean movie.
Okay.
But, they just don't get the play that our, domestic films do, obviously. You kind of got to go to, like, niche theaters for this stuff.
Oh, yeah, and, repertory houses and shit. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, granted, Godzilla -1 was playing fucking everywhere. But these other 2 movies were, like, these were all, I don't want to call them indie movies. Obviously, Brotherhood of the Wolf was a big budget. But, like, A Tale of Two Sisters was, like, kind of an indie Korean film. It was only playing in one theater and for like maybe 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
It was like right smack dab in the middle of a J-horror craze. And I was like, yeah, let's go see this, whatever, Yeah. And it was great. But it was just, it's one of those deals where I kind of got to have the means and the time to really focus on reading and watching.
Yeah. So, well, it looks like we have some homework that we have to do then.
We do.
I think we need to just commit to some of these films that we obviously already own, you know. Aside from Lord of the Rings, fuck the Lord of the Rings. I'm never watching those ever. So just not fucking doing it. But some foreign films, I think I definitely need to just kind of throw them on and say fuck it, you know, and just really, really check them out, you know.
Sure.
And the same thing with you with the anime, you know. I will I'll send you this list and see what you think about it, you know, and see if any of them are like, you know, jumping out at you.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to do that.
Hell yeah. Well, you know, it's looking like we're like, what, this is our last one, but potentially you'll be here.
Actually, the night I'm traveling,
we'll have to do one more. We'll drop one more. That's right. Correct.
We got one more, and it'll be the one that premieres the night I'm leaving.
Right. So that'll be fun.
So,
we'll do something fun with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do something
that sounds
fun.
Good.
Yeah, hell yeah. So no, dude, it was good. I had a fucking great time as usual. It was fun. It was informative, and we need to like expand our horizons on film.
It does sound that way, and hopefully the listeners out there, you know who you are, who have been jotting these movies down as we talk about them. You can certainly hit us up and let us know if you've got any opinions, you got any suggestions. You know, interact, man. That's what we're here for. Hopefully we gave you some homework too.
All right, man. Well, that was a fun one.
Yes, it was.
Until next time.
See you guys.